Franco Frattini, thank you for joining us here in Istanbul on the Newsmakers.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you on the program. Interesting things going on in your country right now, especially with regards to the Interior Minister, Matteo Salvini. And most recently, he has threatened to sue Jean-Claude Juncker from the EU. There's this little tussle going on between your country and the European Union or the European Commission. As somebody who's been on both sides, how do you feel about this? Who's right?
Well, the situation is very complex in my country because what is happening now is the results of years and years of European Union, I would say, underestimating some serious national security issues affecting Italy, in particular migration. Italians, and particularly Italian voters, when it came to the elections in March, decided to be, I would say, a bit tougher vis-à-vis European Union, feeling to have been left alone while facing migration crisis during the last years. And this is the result. People said it's time to vote for those that have been able in the past and will be able to resist to European tendencies and lack of solidarity or national egoism or closing the borders and leaving Italy to its destiny vis-à-vis African migration flows. This is the result. Unfortunately, there have been attempts to explain to European Union, Italy has to be taken into serious consideration. We have been advocating, for example, for more investment, for more growth and job initiatives instead of simply austerity-based policies.
I get the Italian people feel insulted. They feel they want a sense of dignity and independence. They felt over the past few years, whether it's in Lampedusa and elsewhere, Italy is bearing the burden of the refugee crisis while everybody else is preaching, I don't know, the sanctimonious morality while the Italians are doing a lot of the hard work, right? I get it. But does it justify a lot of what we've heard from people like Salvini, which every time we have a debate about Italy, when we have somebody from Lega versus others, the others always call the Lega fascists. They call them fascists, they call them racist, they call them xenophobes. And they have a lot of examples, comments about Roma, comments about Muslims, comments about migrants. Has it been justified that there's this sharp edge to Italian policy and it doesn't like outsiders?
In some cases, we are talking about a very tough domestic political fight between those that are still now in the opposition and those that are the ruling coalition of Italy. So all those insulting expressions like fascist, racist, that have nothing to do with the Italian people. I want to stress, first of all, that Italian police and Coast Guard forces have been rescuing thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the high seas in the past years.
But until they stopped doing it. And now, they said, Aquarius, I'm sorry, you people can die. You don't have to come to our country.
This is not correct, because just 2 weeks ago, an Italian military vessel rescued a group of migrants, but after that is the different treatment with respect to the past. Now, after having rescued people, we try to give them back to the first destination country, which is Malta. And Malta refuses to get those migrants, or to send back those people to Libya, because those people had been rescued within the territorial rescue water of Libya. So we want just to reaffirm a principle. Italy cannot be the only country responsible for getting on board all those that are rescued. 2 weeks ago, President Macron of France, who is very, I would say, in a very tough way, naming Italy as one of the countries that are doing everything is wrong on dealing with migrants, he himself decided to close Marseille port to migrants and say, oh, no, they cannot come to France, please.
You think he's a hypocrite?
Well, no. I think President Macron is following national interest of France. And national interest of France is not the one to give the impression that France is ready to welcome everybody. The same applies to Italy or to Spain.
You mentioned that they can go back to Libya. It's no picnic going back to Libya. A lot of African migrants are being sold in literal slave markets right now in Libya. The country's in civil war. Even Tripoli, the capital of the UN-backed government, is a mess. You've got militias roaming. So, fine. According to the law, you can send people back to Libya. Well, you got on a boat in Libya. This is Libyan sea space. We have to send you back. In reality, in good conscience, is it moral or ethical to send people back to a country like Libya right now?
We have two elements. The human dimension is, to me, the most important one. When I used to be European Vice President back in 2004, 2008, I'd made a proposal already at the time to the director of United Nations Refugees Agency. At the time it was Mr. Guterres, who is the current Secretary General. And we had agreed to establish UN centers in the transit countries. So I can send back people under the protection and the monitoring of UN-led centers. That there were some problems. There were the so-called Arab Springs, and now the project is being revitalized. Secretary Guterres said, I'm ready. Till that moment, we have to take care that all those people are not sent back to the horrible detention situation. And this is why Italy is ready to fund Libya, to pay money to Tunisia and to other transit countries in order to guarantee decent human condition of custody in those countries. If that is not possible, our proposal is to share the burden among European member states. Malta is a small country, Spain is a bigger country, France, the Netherlands, Belgium, all those countries have to bear proportionally the burden of immigration. This is our proposal, not to send back everyone regardless the human custody condition. This is our proposal.
When Gaddafi was in charge of Libya, you stood with him and struck a deal as the Italian government to manage migration better. Gaddafi might have been many things, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. From your guys' perspective, he was playing ball when it came to migration and stemming the flow of migration. Given everything that happened with the Arab Spring after his overthrow, after his killing, and what happened to Libya, was he a better guy to deal with this current mess?
Well, this is exactly the reason why it is absolutely well known. Our government, when I was foreign minister and Berlusconi prime minister, was the most reluctant state to engage against Gaddafi. Our open question to Clinton, to Sarkozy, to Cameron was, please guys, what next in Libya? And they said, oh, no, we have to rush to the war, we have to go there, they are killing innocent people. And we said, okay, but what next? And our mistake was, immediately after the falling of Gaddafi regime, we, within brackets, won the war, we lost the peace. Because at a certain moment, beginning of 2012, we left Libya to its destiny. Because America disengaged, Europe was trapped into the economic crisis, we were diverted our attention from the future of Libya, and now there is a situation where there is a real risk of a partition of Libya in 2 or 3 parts. And so it's absolutely necessary now to have a compact group, a coalition where Russia, United States, Turkey, Egypt, and Arab countries get together to have a reconciliation government in Libya. Otherwise, there is a concrete risk of partition of Libya.
Final question. For those who look at Italy as just one among many European countries swinging right, swinging populist, and swinging away from European integration, it's reasserting confidently its Christian values, its nationalism, its populism, and Italy is one of them. Are they right?
It is the reaction to the opposite excesses of the past. We have been in a situation where others used to deny our identity, to try to affect our identity, to dictate from Brussels even what we should do in our daily life. And this was not acceptable, and the Italian voters reacted. So let's go ahead, let's explain that Italy is and will be one of the founding members of European Union. Never Italy will leave European Union, but of course we need respect. We need, I would say, put in common our sovereignty if necessary, but in some cases we need to preserve our national history, culture, identity, while integrating other identities, because otherwise we run the risk to lose our historical identity. And this is not acceptable for the majority of Italians.
Franco Frattini, thank you for joining us.